What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I even get started, I want to give a big rest in peace to DMX. You feel me? I send my prayers and condolences to his family. Yeah, man, definitely a legend. I grew up off the music. You feel me? But be sure to like, comment, share this video. We're gonna get right into it. Growing up in the trenches can turn a good and humble person to a savage. Some people feel like saying you are a product of your environment is a cop-out, but there's a lot of truth to that. If you grow up and you see everybody banging, more than likely, you're going to gang bang. If everybody trapping, more than likely, you're going to be a trapper. Even if you're around positive people, like a doctor, you might even take that route. It goes both ways, positive and negative. For one young man, we're going to call him DC, he would catch on to the street life at a young age. A lot of beef and enemies start in school. DC had a situation at his high school, Renaissance Academy. Allegedly, the other young man in DC didn't get along. The beef would go left, and one day at school, the other young man was fatally stabbed. The event was caught on surveillance, which was used against DC to build the case. He alleged he was being bullied, and the incident was self-defense. DA used the video to paint the picture of an ambush, alleging DC was laying on the other young man before the stabbing, but DC's lawyers was able to tell the story of a fight that just went too far. He was charged with first-degree murder of the 17-year-old, but on the day of the trial, his lawyers would work hard and he was acquitted of all charges. The victim's family was hurt and felt as though justice wasn't served. Let me give y'all a little backstory. The two young men both participated in a mentor program, but DC alleged the other young men and his friends from McCullough homes would jump him and laugh at him after a situation where his mother came to the school drunk. It escalated and a fight broke out between the two young men, in which DC alleged he was scared and started jabbing with a pocket knife. The young man was hit and passed away almost a month later. Side note, when you beat a case of a body, you gotta know it's people that love that person. And the streets has its own court system and justice. Let's get back into it. DC was labeled an at-risk youth and was in programs to try to help him navigate through the West Baltimore streets. He once told someone in an interview he's just trying to stay alive and make it to age 21 or not be in prison. After the case, things still was very active for the young man. Another situation would occur in which DC was allegedly chased by another man or men over West Baltimore in a stolen whip. And he had a stolen blicky on him, allegedly. He would drive up Vine Street before being found unconscious with a blicky in his lap. He was hit up and fighting for his life. Police painted the scene as a gun battle between DC and another group in which DC got hit. His condition was bad. Almost a year after the school situation, he was now fighting to live. DC would eventually pull through. At the time, he was 19 years old. The streets felt like this was an attempt hit from the death of the young man that was hit up at the school. But this was all speculation. After this, DC would try to go back to school, get his life together. Teachers said he was a nice, soft-spoken young man, but seemed to be torn by the violence in his situation, by wanting to do right, but he couldn't escape the environment of the Baltimore streets. But it wasn't over yet for the young man. I did a story of a West Baltimore squad called Productionz, an organization that allegedly went down for selling fentanyl and getting a lot of money in the city. The feds were swooped in on prime time and 12 people were indicted, including DC, at just 19 years old. Within 3 years, this young man would beat a body, get hit up and fight for his own life, and go down for a federal indictment. In certain situations, this is normal. Some people never go through this much their whole life. But as a kid growing up in the trenches, you are damn near grown by the time you're 14 years old. My question to the people, DC grew up rough, not really having support and saying nothing but street life. Is he a product of his environment? I would say so. Sometimes we don't choose the streets, they choose us. DC tried to stay on track, but the streets would drive him to the fast lane. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Yeah, man. This young man, he had a lot going on. When I was doing my homework and somebody reached out to me and they like, a young man from the Primetime story, he had another situation. And I looked into it and I read on the situation at the school. And it's an unfortunate situation. First of all, rest in peace to the young man that lost his life at just 17 years old. Now, the way they put it, it was a lot of beef between them two young men. They didn't get along, and things went left. And I had situations like that in school, so I know exactly how that feels. At one point in time, I was beefing with a whole hood, you know what I mean? And I was beefing with individuals. It just, in high school, everybody trying to find themselves, things go on, and sometimes bad things happen. You see what I'm saying? But DC would eventually get hit up after that. Now as far as that situation, I don't know too much about it. From what I was told, he was found, unconscious. He had got hit up. He got hit in the chest, a few other places, but he would live. And then, like I said, the indictment came with the Primetime organization. Now, I don't know if any time been handed out for this situation, but the feds trying to allegedly say, they had a lot of fent, a lot of people OD, stuff like that. Hopefully this young man can beat this, because he's 19 years old. You feel me? Like, that's what I be telling y'all. Like, the streets go so fast. Like, I'm pretty sure at like 14 or 15, he probably was chilling, playing sports, doing regular things. And now look, just a few years later, he done been through all that. He done beat a case. He done been hit up. And he done been going down for a federal indictment. That's a lot for a young person to take in. But that's how it go. So if you want to live that lifestyle, you just got to understand that's how it go down. You feel me? A lot of people wake up when it's too late. Like I said, I ain't no preacher. I tell these hood stories, the real trenches, to let y'all know what really go on in these situations and how they can be avoided. Some people feel like they can't. But if I can help one, I did my job. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy weekend, man. I want to definitely say rest in peace, DMX, man. It's a sad situation. I pray for his family, for the family of the young man in this video that lost his life, man. Rest in peace. I send my condolences. You feel me? Let me know what y'all think about this story. Be sure to like, comment, share. Love y'all, fam. I'm out.